Hey guys, there's wars and rumors of wars, as it is written. And we're seeing this now coming to fruition. President Trump just recently ordered the U.S. military to strike 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. So is this the start of World War III? Is the discussion the day after. So let's get your thoughts on it. All right, guys. It's Carl Gerard, Only One Mic Podcast. Just giving you a recap of everything that's took place in the last 24 hours. This is coming from the New York Post. President Trump ordered the U.S. military to strike 3 Iranian nuclear facilities, including the heavily fortified Fordow site, using advanced bunker buster bombs. I've seen a lot of people kind of tongue-tied on that one this weekend. Trump claimed that these strikes successfully destroyed Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity. Now, he addressed the nation like right after, the strike took place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a clip of Trump addressing the nation after bombing these facilities. Listen to this.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say, we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So as you can see, this military action here would raise a lot of eyebrows in terms of the reactions to it. So the top Republicans in Congress supported the move, deeming it necessary to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions. Conversely, though, senior Democrats and some Republicans condemned the strikes as unconstitutional, and they warned that this could drag the U.S. into a broader conflict. In response, Iran vowed to defend itself and launch a barrage of missiles at targets across Israel, injuring at least 16 people. Israel, in turn, carried out additional strikes on Iran military targets. And there are concerns that the U.S. attack could lead to further dangerous escalations in the region, as Iran's allies and proxies might retaliate against U.S. forces and interests. Now, the strikes seem to have diminished hopes for a negotiated resolution to this conflict, with Iran's foreign minister rejecting all calls to return to the negotiating table. So what I want to do is I want to play a clip from Iran's foreign minister. Iran's foreign minister, I believe his name is it Abi? I might be. I'm totally butchering this man's name. But the Iran foreign minister, Rachi, I believe it is, he has a response to this whole thing. This is coming courtesy of the Associated Press. So check this out.
The Republic of Iran condemns in the strongest terms the United States' brutal military aggression against Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities. It is an outrageous, grave, and unprecedented violation of the fundamental principles of the Charter of the United Nations and international law. The warmongering and lawless administration in Washington is solely and fully responsible for the dangerous consequences and far-reaching implications of its act of aggression. There is no red line that they have not crossed. And the last one, and the most dangerous one, happened only last night, when they crossed a very big red line by attacking nuclear facilities. I don't know how much room is left for diplomacy.
Now, guys, this sounds like a pretty sticky predicament. So, as you can see, they're not going to just let this one get swept under the rug. When this strike initially happened, a lot of people just pretty much came out and said that, like, this is not going to work out good. Even if it, as I heard one pundit said, even if it took Iran, say, about 15 years to rebuild their whole nuclear weapons facilities, they're going to use that in some form of fashion. And I think that's something that we need to be aware of. So as it was stated earlier, the key nuclear sites that were targeted by the U.S. military included, as President Trump said, the Fordow nuclear site, Natanz, and another facility in Isfahan. The operation employed powerful bunker buster bombs and cruise missiles as well. So now, naturally, the reaction from the U.S. lawmakers were divided along the party lines, right? So the strikes on Iran nuclear sites, the top Republicans in Congress, such as Speaker Mike Johnson and Senator John Thune, praised the military operation as a necessary measure against Iran's nuclear ambitions, and that it maintaining that the strikes were consistent with Trump's foreign policy. Now, a lot of people, argue too that Trump totally backtracked on what he was initially said in his reelection, was that he was trying to bring peace. So in contrast, senior Democrats and some Republican lawmakers condemned the strikes as unconstitutional and raised concerns that they could escalate into a broader war in the Middle East. Democratic leaders Senator Chuck Schumer and Representative Hakeem Jeffries also spoke against it, characterizing the strikes as misleading and reckless, demanding accountability from Trump and calling for congressional authorization, which I think Trump did go around Congress to even get this done, which is something that should not even happen. Some Democrats, including Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC as she's more widely known, suggested that the strikes warranted impeachment proceedings against Trump. However, a few Democrats like Senator John Fetterman expressed immediate support for the strikes. Overall, Republicans generally backed the military action, while Democrats largely condemned it, as probably they would, as unconstitutional and potentially dangerous, highlighting a clear partisan divide in the lawmakers' response. Now, Iran's immediate response to the U.S., as you just heard, was that the nuclear facility, backtrack. The U.S. attack on its nuclear facilities included a vow to defend itself, labeling the attack a grave, unprecedented violation of international law. Iran retaliated by launching missiles at targets in Israel, resulting in injuries and casualties. Now, several key concerns emerged regarding the potential for escalated conflict in that region following the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. One of them is fear of Iranian retaliation. Concerns were raised that Iranian forces or their militant proxies across the Middle East could respond to the U.S. bombardment by attacking American troops or allies and potentially igniting further fighting and a broader regional conflict. Likelihood of entering a dangerous phase of war. All right. The strikes also could initiate a more dangerous phase of ongoing conflict between the U.S. and Israel and Iran, and concerns about broader military engagement. Some Democratic lawmakers criticized the strikes as unconstitutional and caused that they could lead the U.S. into an unauthorized military conflict in the Middle East. Doubts about Iran's willingness to negotiate or, by analysts, they were skeptical that the strikes would lead Iran's leaders to embrace diplomatic solutions, with one stating that Iran was likely to believe it can simply capitulate to the United States. The potential for Iranian retaliation against U.S. interests were that the warnings, if the U.S. became more involved in the conflict, Iran could retaliate by attacking American military bases, deploying naval mines in the Persian Gulf, or attempting to strategically significant Strait of Hormuz. Now, with that being said, guys, I want to hear your thoughts on it because, this is a very fluid situation here, and we're getting more information day by day, and it's just, it's just something that came out the blue, and it's very concerning. So, again, some of the concerns centered around the risk of escalating the conflict, the potential for a wider regional war, and doubts about the strikes achieving the desired diplomatic outcomes with Iran. Now, I just want to hear what your take on it is because, again, this is a very fluid situation. Keep your ear to the ground. As I said, wars and rumors of wars. But what do you think? Do you think Trump was right for doing this? I mean, I personally don't see the point in it. For him having the U.S. involved in this? Do you think it's a potential for a World War III? What do you think? Please reach out, drop it in the comments. If you think that this is not going to end well for the United States in terms of another war being started or being a part of another broader conflict between two nations. All right, guys, the Only One Mic podcast is available on all platforms you stream your podcasts on. Also, check out our Only One Mic podcast YouTube channel, and you can catch up on the past and current episodes. Please, guys, don't forget to rate the show and subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. Also, check us out on Instagram and X/Twitter at The Only One Mic P1, Facebook and LinkedIn at The Only One Mic Podcast. You can also contact us via email, guys, email at theonlyonemike00@gmail.com. or call us at 302-367-7219, and we will more than happily play your comments and questions on the show. Again, what do you think about this whole conflict with, Israel, Iran, and now with the U.S. inserting itself in it? And some say that even Russia, China, it's a lot of moving parts in the story, guys. Just keep your ear to the ground. All right, so with that being said, it's Carl Gerard with the Only One Mic podcast. Signing off. Peace.